I am the Executive Director, and I want to welcome everyone tonight, and thank you for getting on at such short notice. We're about to get started with our call. It is my great pleasure to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of the State of New York, Robert Duffy.
Thank you, Rodney. First of all, I want to echo what Rodney said. Good evening, everybody on. I want to thank you all for taking time to join us tonight. Quickly, it has been a very inspiring week here in Albany and all around the state, beginning with the governor's exciting State of the State address last week, and most recently, passage of the first in the nation gun control package on Tuesday. Yesterday, the governor and I had the pleasure of going to Rochester to sign the bill into law. It was great to be back home, but we had a full house. We had the Rochester Police Chief there, so much support. And this is something people have waited for a long time, for some really meaningful actions relative to violence. The kickoff of 2013 has been just outstanding. There's much more to come. The governor is going to be on the line tonight. He wants to share some of what he is going to be doing with you tonight. He can speak with you directly. And before I introduce him, I just want to say, in the last 2 years, this man has really changed the whole outlook of this state. Everywhere you go, there's really just a sense of pride. It's about getting work done. It's really showing that government does work. And I could not be prouder, especially of his accomplishment with the gun control package, what he has done this past week. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce the governor of the state of New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo. Governor.
Well, thank you very much, Governor. And to Bob Duffy, you know, I worked with Bob when he was mayor of Rochester, when I was the Attorney General. And it was clear to me that he was a superstar, and it didn't take me 11 seconds to make the judgment for me when I got to recommend the lieutenant governor's position to someone. But there's something about being in local government. You know, it's just, you understand that the government has to work and the government has to function because you're held accountable in a way that, frankly, state government, federal government isn't. So Bob's been a superstar for the administration. I thank him very much. Rodney Capel, Executive Director of the Democratic Party, who's doing a great job. I thank him and all of you. Thanks for taking the time. We have some important topics that we want to discuss to make sure you're aware of what we're up to, and we can figure out how we can work together. As the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, we got off to a very quick start this year with the gun legislation, and I'm very excited about that. We had worked on it extensively through December, literally every day, trying to come up with the right comprehensive package, because it's not just about guns, and it's not just about banning assault weapons. It's about mental health, and coming up with a system where you can actually check from a mental health point of view. It's about increasing the penalties on illegal guns, which are a real problem. It's about ammunition purchases, and it's about the culture of violence. So we came up with a comprehensive package. We worked on it through December, and then strike while the iron is hot. We got it passed literally on the first day of session. It's going to make a big difference here in New York. It's along the lines of what the president has outlined for the country. And what I like about the timing of what we did, not only is it the best package that I think any state has put together, but it also shows that you can get this done. And yes, there's opposition, and yes, the NRA is out there and they're campaigning, but you can get it done. And when you get it done in a state like New York, it resonates nationwide. We saw that with marriage equality, where we passed marriage equality, and you saw the dialogue nationwide change. So I think this was powerful on a number of levels. We did the State of the State last week, which was a chock-full agenda. You know, where Bob and I are half-time here in the administration. We're 2 years into it. So to the extent we wanted to put the ball in the air and put some more ambitious initiatives on the agenda, that's what we did this year. And it really is a robust agenda. It has a very aggressive education platform, extending the school year or day, leaving it up to the school districts, because it's not a state problem, it's a national problem. We just don't educate our children as much as other countries, let alone as well. It continues the teacher evaluation system, which has been working well, also puts more money into education. We have a very aggressive economic development program that builds on the regional economic development councils that are working great guns all across the state. They're really forging regional identities, and that's important because that's how the economy functions in the region. We run cities, we run counties, we run towns, but the economy is regional. And this is really bringing people together on a regional level. And we're going to enhance that. We have a program we call Innovation Hotspots, which are high-tech, higher education partnerships for startup businesses, incubator businesses in the tech area, and they are tax-free zones. So I'm excited about that. The stop and frisk reforms we want to make to the stop and frisk policy in New York City, which unfairly stereotypes, in my opinion, a lot of young people and criminalizes them. We want to raise the minimum wage, and we want a response package for Hurricane Sandy. The devastation in the areas that were hurt by Hurricane Sandy is really indescribable. And you've all seen it on TV, but the scale and the reality of it is actually much worse in person. So we have a very full agenda, and what I would ask you to consider is how can you be part of it? You know, we've all been through the situation, but this is an aggressive agenda, which is also generating opposition. Take an issue like the gun laws. And the opposition is mobilized, and the opposition is vocal, and the support tends to be silent. So it looks like a one-sided conversation. And I think you can be helpful there. I think you can, on a local level, generate support, generate emails, generate letters. We want the assemblymen and senators to know that this is the right path that they're on. Local resolutions, local governmental resolutions, anything like that, to have the positive side also articulate their views. It can't always be that the negative yells and the positive is silent. So in the spirit of partnership, we would appreciate that. But otherwise, all good. We're off to a very fast start. Getting the gun legislation passed really gave us momentum right at the get-go, because nobody thought we'd be able to pull that one off. So I feel good about the agenda for the rest of the year, and I look forward to working with all of you. And Lieutenant Governor, once again, thank you. And Rodney, thank you for the good job you're doing.
Robert, thank you. Very inspiring. At this point in the program, folks, we have some local government colleagues who've asked to make some comments, and I'm going to start from the western part of our state and work our way east. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Buffalo, Mayor Byron Brown. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor Duffy. And Governor, thank you for taking the time to speak with us this evening. Thank you for your leadership on a whole host of issues. And in particular tonight, thank you for your leadership on the issue of gun violence. Buffalo, like many communities across the nation, is no stranger to gun violence. This is why I was one of the first mayors in the country to join the Mayor's Coalition Against Illegal Guns. I'm certainly very proud of this first in the nation legislation, and I am confident that it will save lives. Governor Cuomo has been a great friend to Western New York, especially Buffalo, and we are seeing tremendous investment and progress in our city. This bill is just another example of New York State working for the people to make us the strongest and safest state in the nation. But this legislative session is just beginning, and as the governor said, we have more work to do. I urge all of my fellow elected officials to get involved in the governor's bold agenda, and let's continue to work together to make New York a model for the rest of the country.
Thanks, Mayor, very much. Well said. Now we're going to move to the North Country. I want to invite the town supervisor of the town of Minerva, Sue Montgomery Corey, to speak.
Thank you, Mayor and Governor, for making us a priority, and I want to thank you especially for caring about the North Country as you have. It's really important to all of us. In your State of the State address, you laid out a groundbreaking 10-point agenda aimed at improving the lives of 51.5% of our state's population, the New York women. The initiative includes protecting the freedom of choice, promoting pay equity, creating a zero-tolerance policy on sexual harassment in the workplace, and ending pregnancy and housing discrimination, among others. The glass ceiling in the professional world is still very much a reality. Men are 32 times more likely to become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Women make up just 16% of the partners at major law firms, and I can count on one hand the number of women chief surgeons. For all of these reasons and more, I urge every person on this call to join me in writing letters to town supervisors and mayors across the state asking for their support in passing the Women's Equality Act. New York has long served as a model for equality and fairness, and the Women's Equality Act will break down barriers that perpetuate discrimination and inequality based on gender. Passing groundbreaking progressive legislation requires leadership, and Governor Cuomo has proven to be a leader on progressive issues. I look forward to working with you and your administration to enact the Women's Equality Act so that all women in New York will know that they are on equal footing with their colleagues.
And Supervisor, thank you very much. Appreciate the comments very much. We're going to move downstate, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Borough President of the Great Borough of the Bronx, Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Buenas noches, buenas tardes a todos. How you doing, Mr. Governor? Thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to participate on this call. I just want to say that before I became the Borough President, I served in the New York State Assembly, for those that don't know, for nearly 13 years. And I have to say that since you've been governor, it's been quite impressive, and you've made us all proud. As you know, as Puerto Ricans say, we're quelling with the leadership that you have shown up in Albany. I just want to say that over the last couple of years, through your Regional Economic Development Council, the Bronx has really fared well, where we've been, the borough and, one of the boroughs that's been left behind. But thanks to your leadership, the produce market is headed in the right direction. We've had Fresh Direct. And then to hear you in your State of the State address last week and your proposals, particularly those on stop and frisk. Look, I don't know if people are aware, but over the last 10 years, if you look at the numbers, when folks talk about stop and frisk, there have been over 600,000 more people stopped than in 2012. And yet, when you look at arrests, when you look at the guns that have been taken off the streets as a result of this practice, they've been relatively the same. And so the argument that those of us who want to revisit this policy and reform it, as the governor does, is that the ends don't justify the means. You just can't violate individuals' civil rights. And we're seeing that to the tune of over 600,000 individuals, particularly black and Latino young men here in the city of New York, mainly from my district. And so to have that in the state of the state address and to reform the stop and frisk policy, I thought was bold. I thought it showed your leadership once again to do that and in the same week pass gun laws and the gun reform laws and gun control laws in the manner that you did, which I know is not easy. That shows leadership. And then I thought you were extremely eloquent and you showed authority when you said that we should raise the minimum wage. Now, for those of you who don't know, here in the city of New York, we have a living wage bill, and that conversation started and it was introduced by legislators and myself from right here, the borough of the Bronx. So to raise the minimum wage statewide is something that we wholeheartedly support. I think that, these proposals and others just make common sense. I think that you're the voice and the leader to go around the state of New York and make sure, but we also realize that you can't do it alone. And so, I want to join my colleagues who spoke before. I want to urge everyone who's on this call, and certainly we'll be doing our part here in the Bronx and throughout the city of New York, to help our governor go out there and really make sure that people understand the necessity and the importance of these proposals. I just want to end off by saying that on behalf of 1.4 million Bronxites and on behalf of Latinos, Mr. Governor, we want to say thank you. We want to say gracias. We want to say that we support you, and we're going to do everything that we can to help you push forward these proposals in your agenda, because we know that at the end of the day, they're going to be good for the Bronx, they're going to be good for New York City, they're going to be good for Latinos, for all communities, and it's going to be good for the entire state of New York. So we say presente, we're going to support you, and I urge everyone on this line to do the same.
Mr. Borough President, thank you very much for the great comments. Well, last but certainly not least, for those that signed up to talk, we're going to go to the eastern part of our state, the far eastern part. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And Governor, thank you very much for putting this call together. And we were all amazed at the gun safety legislation that you got approved and how quickly it was done. And we really appreciate that. You keep pulling rabbits out of hats here, and we just can't wait to see what you do next. But we'll be here to support the very aggressive agenda that you've laid out, and we really appreciate that. But for me, and I think for our region in particular, what we're most appreciative of is the focus on recovery after Hurricane Sandy. You know how devastated we were. You were with us from the beginning, before the storm, helping us to prepare. And you visited and we toured together areas of Suffolk County that were just absolutely devastated. And, I know that you're focused on this agenda, but we really appreciate your work on the recovery. And I was down in Washington on Tuesday as the House was voting on the recovery package. And I have to tell you, it was a bipartisan effort, but Congressman King was on the floor of the House, and he said more than a couple of times that this was the most detailed recovery package that had been put together by any state for any natural disaster that we've had in the last 10 years or so. So, I just want to thank you for doing that, and we got the recovery money passed, and now we'll be able to help get people back in their homes and get businesses back online. And I think one other very significant thing with regard to the recovery effort is that some people may not be fully aware of is the commissions that you created. Obviously, the Moreland Commission on the Utility, the Storm Preparedness, but also the New York State Ready Commission, New York State Respond, and New York State 2100. And these are so significant for us, and I think the other areas that were impacted, because they're going to give us the ability to, not only weather future storms like Sandy, because we'll have the resources to do real emergency preparedness plans that work for the 21st century, but it'll also help us to harden the infrastructure, which is what we really need to do to prepare for those storms. So, Governor, we love the very bold agenda again. We will be down here, I can tell you, in Suffolk County, doing everything we can to support that agenda. But for us, the focus this year is going to be on recovery from Hurricane Sandy, and we continue to appreciate your leadership on that issue and your work in helping to make New York really the most prepared state in the nation, I think. And I think this is certainly where you're leading us, the most prepared state in the nation for future natural disasters. So thank you, Governor, and look forward to continuing that work together.
Mr. County Executive, thank you very much. Very, very well said. Before we wrap up, I want to just offer the Governor a chance to make some closing comments. Governor?
Just a couple of quick things, if I can, to follow up. First, I want to thank Mayor Byron Brown. We're doing a lot out in Buffalo. There's an energy in Western New York that hasn't been there in a long time. It's a real positive sense. The Buffalo Bills have agreed to stay. We have an aggressive economic development agenda, but you can actually feel the energy shift in the air, and you can see it in people's faces. So I want to thank the mayor very much for his help. Sue Montgomery Corey, the North Country is doing great, and I run up there whenever I can, both on a professional and a personal level. I'll tell you the truth. I was just at Placid over Christmas. I mean, it's such a beautiful part of the state. We just get people to go there, and they'll just keep coming back. I'm sure of that. Borough President Ruben Diaz, Pleasure to be with you again. And I wish you were still up here, Ruben, because we're really shaking it up. And I know that you put in a lot of years in the state legislature, and I think we're rocking and rolling here, and I think you'd actually get a kick out of it. County Executive Ballone, you did a fantastic job through Sandy. You want to talk about a time when the rubber hits the road, and by the way, all these political arguments just dissipate. I never pulled up to anyone in Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Irene. I never pulled up to anyone in a truck or a boat and have them say to me, no, I don't want help. I believe in small, limited government, But the county executive's done a really fantastic job all through Sandy, and I saw a picture of you in the paper smiling when the aid came through. So congratulations to you. And that emergency response network and capacity, both on the state and the local side, is something I'm going to spend a lot of time on, because we're going to be seeing a lot more of these situations in the future. And we all have a fundamental responsibility to public safety. And responding to these emergencies, it either works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, it's too late to make it work. So you're either prepared, or people get hurt, or people die. And I'm taking that very seriously, and we're not now prepared. And we don't have the apparatus we're going to need. So we'll spend a lot of time on that. In general, first, any help you guys can give us, as I said before, the negative always resonates. We have upstate Republican senators who have online petitions to repeal the gun law that we just passed. And you get tens of thousands of people on the petition, because the negative just is very organized. The NRA is very good at it. We need the counter pressure now, and something like the women's equality agenda, the minimum wage law. A lot of these things are applicable on the local level, and any way you can help, again, resolutions, etc., we'd appreciate. And in general, I want to work more to get the Democratic Party tighter in the state, especially among elected officials. The governmental agenda turns into the campaign message, right? And to the extent we can have a unified agenda and a unified message, that helps all of us, and it helps the party. It happens naturally during a presidential year, because the president starts the message from on top, and it trickles down, pardon the use of the words. But even when there's not a presidential election, we should have a unified agenda. We do have a unified agenda, and then we all push at the same time. And that will help governmentally, and that will help politically, and that the best politics is the best government, and the best government is the best politics. And that's something I want to really spend some time on, getting tighter than we now do it. We should be more unified in terms of the governmental agenda. And this is the first start at that. So I thank you all very much for taking the time. I know you're all busy. I know you're all pulled in 11 different directions. So I truly appreciate you taking the time to get on the phone.
Thank you very much for taking the time. I just want to close off the call if I can. I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Madam Supervisor, Mr. Borough President, Mr. County Exec, for your comments and your support. Everybody on the call tonight, the governor's call to action is very clear. We need you, and I say this without any hesitation. We have the best governor in the country, and he has the best team in the country, and you are that team. And he has taken on a huge lift with the whole issue of violence and gun control. As the governor said, the resistance to that is stepping up. I think everybody on this call and right around the state has had the same courage as the governor has shown in putting this forth. Let's get this done, and I can tell you right now, the majority of the state, super majority of the state, probably 80% support what's being done. We have to make sure our voices are heard. So, Gov, thanks so much for taking the time. It's been a crazy week. Have a good night. And for everyone on the line, thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.